Well, g'day and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are diving into the interior fit out of our Land Cruiser 76. Can't wait to show you this one as we strip the entire interior out of the car to install a sound and noise insulation package. We do donate 10% of all the revenue from this YouTube channel directly to charity. And this month, we are raising important funds and awareness for the legends at Movember. And we would really appreciate your help. There's two things you can do to help us with that. The first one is to simply watch the ads in this video, and that will help us to donate more to Movember. If you would like to make a direct contribution, that also would really help us out. There's a link in the description below for you to go and do just that. Any donation, large or small, would be greatly appreciated, and thank you to all of you that have already done so. If you enjoy our content on this channel, subscribing to the channel is the best way to support that. It's fast and it's free for you. All you need to do is go and click that subscribe button. It really does help us out. We really appreciate it. All right, legends, let's dive in and check out the sound installation that we do in the car. This is a huge job to pull apart the car and do this, but well worth it. Can't wait to show you the results at the end. Let's go and check it out. We bought a kit from the guys at Car Builders. They do a kit for a number of vehicles, including the 76, and lucky for me, they also did a YouTube video about how they do it. We went with the full kit for ours, so there's a number of different products that we're going to be installing. I'll go through those a bit more in detail as we get into it. But first things first is time to strip the vehicle. So we're going to take all the seats out, the roof, all the carpets and everything so we can get into everywhere and insulate this bad boy. Luckily for me, I got a bit of a head start while the car was up in Brisbane and we were at McCormack's getting a heap of work done there. One of the things that we did there was to get the door handles and keyholes in the doors painted. To do that, they had to remove the inner door skins. So that gave me access to be able to jump in there and get the doors done. So I've already pre-done all the doors with the stage 1 peel and stick product, which is a great head start for me. Next big job will be the roof lining, and then we'll get stuck into the floor. So let's dive into it and start pulling this car apart. One of the biggest challenges for us for this project was actually finding somewhere suitable to be able to do it. Luckily, my mate Lasho was happy to lend us his shed, because you do want a bit of clear space to be able to lay everything out as you pull the car apart and still be able to get around the car easily to do the install. Now, pulling the interior of a car apart can be a daunting experience, especially if you haven't done it before, and especially if it's a brand new car like this. Now, I've done a few bits and pieces of pulling cars apart over the years, and my best tips are just take your time, be careful especially with those plastic clips, as they do break easily in the trim. Although they can be replaced, you obviously want to avoid breaking as many as possible. I'd also say don't be afraid to Google how to pull apart a small section if you get to a tricky part or you can't work out how something pulls apart, or having a workshop manual for your particular vehicle can make it a bit easier as well. And on that, while you're pulling things apart that are a little bit more complicated, take a few photos or a short video on your phone of how it came apart. It makes it a lot easier when it comes time to put it back together. And on that as well, lay everything out as you remove it in a logical way to ensure that you can remember how it all goes back together. Because although you think you know it all, trust me, when it comes time to put it back together, sometimes the old memory lets you down. Now, if you're doing the roof and the floor like us, it's easiest to pull the seats and all the interior out first and all the carpet before you tackle the roof. This makes room to be able to remove the roof lining easily. Don't forget, before you handle that roof lining as well, to make sure you wash your hands or use gloves. It's very easy to leave dirty marks on the roof lining that are difficult to remove later. Well, there you go, it's stripped. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It took me about 2 hours all up for reference, which I think is pretty good. I thought it was going to take me most of the day. So yeah, 2 hours, I'm pretty happy with that. I got the roof liner out. That was a bit tricky on my own. Mainly at the sides here on these little rear windows. The sealant for the windows that holds the pinch weld on there is still, it's like a wet, it doesn't dry, and it's really sticky, so that got everywhere. But apart from that, it was pretty straightforward. A little bit tricky at the front to get the carpet out from around the gear stick and the airbag control module and a few bits up there, but yeah, apart from that, it all went pretty well straightforward. So I've laid out all my bits and pieces and screws, so hopefully I remember where everything goes and can put it all back together again. All right, so all in all, I used a 10, a 12 and a 14mm socket or a spanner. Oh, you would have seen me use the drill a fair bit. That just obviously makes it a little bit quicker. But yeah, you do need a Phillips head screwdriver or a Phillips head bit in your drill. These trim removal tools are super handy. I highly recommend getting at least one of those. Makes it a lot easier to get those plastic clips off without breaking anything. And you do need a Torx as well, which are those funny little sort of star shape bolt heads there for the grab handles, have those. I had one that goes in the drill, but you're looking for a size 25 Torx for that as well. And then for the installation, we're going to need a Stanley knife and a couple other basics as well, but that all comes with the kit if you buy the kit like we did. All right, so next job is to remove this factory jute, or whatever you want to call it, foam insulation from the roof. We're going to take that out because as you can see, it doesn't cover most of the roof anyway, and replace all that. So that's the next step, and that's going to be that peel and stick foil back insulation. I'll show you that when we put it in. Same stuff that we put in the doors earlier. Oh, well, that sucked. I might have spoken too soon. Oh, that was a nightmare to try and get that off. Whatever glue they use is good stuff. It works really well. I ended up using a bit of what they provide you as a surface prep. So it's basically just alcohol. Mate Lasho's shed on borrowing also had a bit of the same stuff, but in a pump pack, just to get a bit more of it on. It worked to sort of break up the glue a little bit, but I still couldn't get it all off. Yeah, I've done my best, but anyway, I spoke to the guys at Car Builders and they said that is the worst part of the whole job, and it's actually one of the worst cars to do it in, to try and get that factory insulation off the roof. But it's off now, so it's time to move on to the next step, thankfully, which is to start installing some of this gear. So the first product we're going to be installing in the ceiling or in the roof is the sound deadener, or what they call the vibration dampening mats, this gear here. Now, as I said, they supply all the tools you need. So they give you this little roller because you need to roll it on, make sure it adheres really well, a razor blade and some spare blades for it. And the idea of this stuff is to get rid of this effect. So when you hit the roof, you get that real echoey sound. Now, even with that factory foam insulation on there, it doesn't really take that out. That foam insulation helps a little bit of the sound from inside rebounding, and it probably does a little bit for heat, but it doesn't do anything for stopping that sound, which is the big thing that we're trying to get rid of. So they're a foil-backed, like a rubber-based, I don't know what it's actually made of, but it's a fairly malleable and sticky gear. So yeah, it's pretty easy in big flat areas like this to stick it on, but obviously in the doors and that, it was a little bit more fiddly, and you just got to try and cut it to suit and minimize the joins and just run it up there. But you can throw your scraps in, everything. You can use all of it. So I think we got 4 boxes, does a 76. I think we got an extra box. We did 5, I'm pretty sure, just to have a bit extra. But yeah, we'll use at least a whole box in the roof. So we've got 3 sections here in the roof. We obviously don't need to do where these cross members are, or even that close to them, because they take out a lot of that resonance. But yeah, I've done my best, like I said, getting that factory stuff off, but what's left is really like a sticky residue. So I'm hoping it's only going to help adhere these sheets that we're putting on. So let's get into it. All right, well, that's the roof pretty well sorted. So use 4 sheets per panel. Like I said, our roof's pretty much divided into thirds, and they allow a box for the roof. Now you can probably see there's a bit of a gap either side here of each of these cross members. You don't actually need to go right to the edge, because this cross member does the job of sound deadening the panel, but it's taken a huge amount of that vibration out of the roof, that echoey sound as you tap the panel. There is a second layer to go on the roof, but because I've got that extra box, I'm going to do all the stage 1 first, so all the floor and everything, and just see how much I've got to work with, because like I said, you can just use offcuts and stuff. So if I do have any spare bits that I want to throw in to cover up some of the edges in the roof, then I might as well use them up. So I'm going to start ripping in and doing the floor now. So after giving the interior a quick vacuum, the next step was to use the surface prep and give everything a good wipe down to make sure that the peel and stick adheres properly to the bodywork. I also did this on the roof and in the doors before I put the stage 1 sound deadener in there. It's a bit fiddly in the floor. It's a lot easier rolling it though. Rolling above the head on the roof was yeah, pretty tiring. But yeah, not too bad. Just a bit fiddly going through all the floor pan and everything, and trying to go around all the seat mounts and bolt holes and things like that. Back into it this morning, shaved the face this morning as well, get the mo going. If you haven't donated already, jump over, I'll leave a link in the description below and you can donate to our Movember campaign. We're trying to raise as much money as we can and raise awareness for men's health, and we'd really appreciate your help on that. Thanks to everyone that's donated already. Got a fair bit done yesterday, pretty happy with how much I got done, but still a little bit to go of the stage one, and then we'll dive into the next stage of it. So this car builders kit that we got, this whole idea actually came about thanks to you guys. When we first started talking about building a 76 and modifying it for touring, this is one of the main things you guys recommended, was to get a car builder's sound deadening kit. So that's exactly what we did. We ordered the kit and it's been sitting in the back of the car for the last couple of weeks while we've been traveling around trying to find somewhere to get it done. So big thanks to all of you out there who suggested it. Looking forward to seeing how much difference it makes to the car. But from doing the doors already, I think it's going to make a huge difference. And already just tapping the panels, you can hear the difference in the resonance. So I'm going to rip in, get these last few bits finished off, and then we'll dive into the next phase and I'll show you what stage 2 is. All done. There you have it. We are fully sound deadened. So that is all of the stage 1 installed. So I did inside the quarter panels, the whole floor, the roof, as much as I could. There are some little gaps in it here and there, but there's no need to do 100% of it. It's really just to try and take out any resonance in the panel, take out that vibration, and yeah, it's done a great job of that. So next phase is, this is what they call insulator. It's a 6mm foam. This is also a peel and stick product, and this is for the roof. You might be able to see I've already done the rear section. So as I said earlier, our roof is basically split into thirds. So there's 3 sheets of this. It's yeah, peel and stick. It's really lightweight stuff, and the idea of this is heat coming in from outside to stop that radiant heat coming into the car and keep the car cooler, but it also dampens conversation and music and things like that inside the car. So sound that moves around inside the car, it dampens that sound, and yeah, and just makes the cabin that bit more comfortable. Now this is just the roof product, then we've got another product to go on the floor after I've got all this in. That was nice and easy getting them in. That's yeah, made a big difference to the appearance. At least it looks a lot neater and tidier. Next is the mass noise liner, which is it's like a carpet underlay basically. It goes under the floor, but it's got some thermal and acoustic properties as well, I'm pretty sure. So it's a 2-piece, if you can see there. It's a 2-piece liner, and it comes pre-cut for some cars, including the 76. So pretty stoked with that. It's pre-cut, ready to go. Comes in a few pieces, and we're going to lay that out across the floor. It's also waterproof, this stuff, so it doesn't hold water at all. So if we do ever get water in the car, if we do a water crossing and get a bit excited or something like that, then this won't hold any moisture, so you don't get any rot, and you won't get any rust or anything as well, where water gets trapped in the liner underneath the carpet. Well, it took a minute to figure out what went where and which bit was for wet. None of it was labelled, which would have been handy, but it doesn't take too long to work out. It starts to become pretty self-explanatory once you get a few pieces in place. They do leave tabs like this so you can keep it all connected, so you can see what goes where. So you do have to cut those as you go. But as you can see, I'm starting to get it in around the footwell here, and I'll go around and do the passenger footwell, and all the back is pretty much in. So keep working my way through it and get this in, and time to start putting the car back together. But yeah, that's the sound deadening kit. I look forward to letting you guys know how it goes and how much difference we notice. I think it's going to be significant. That floor liner is pretty thick and heavy duty. It's got some weight to it as well. It'll definitely, the whole kit's going to add a little bit of weight to the car. I probably could figure out how much, but yeah, there'll definitely be a few kilos there of additional weight, but well worth it, I reckon. Well, first impressions with the sound deadening done. The difference is significant. Whether it's with music playing or just general road noise, there is a significant improvement. It's also been really hot lately, and the car doesn't seem to heat up anywhere near as much. So yeah, look, really stoked with the result. I think it's going to make a massive difference, especially when we start hitting the rougher roads and the dirt and corrugations and things like that. I haven't actually had it up to highway speed yet. I've only just been driving around town, but looking forward to testing it once we do get out of town a bit more. And on the freeway or on the highway and see how it goes. But so far, really, really impressed. Really glad we did it. It was not too bad all in all in the end. The install took about, I reckon you could do it in a weekend. If you got a head start on the Friday night, Friday afternoon after work, start pulling the car apart and then do the install over a day, day and a half, and then put the car back together. I ended up getting a mate to give me a hand. Lasho gave me a hand the other night when he came home from work. We spent a couple of hours putting the car back together. Definitely easier with 2 people, but yeah, I'd say a big weekend, but achievable in a weekend. So that's the sound deadening done. We're going to move on to the next phase of the interior fit out. Looking forward to showing you all that. See you soon. Well, there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. Next Sunday's video on YouTube is going to be something a little bit different from us. It turns out that next Sunday is exactly 1,000 days that we've been traveling Australia full time. So we thought we'd take that opportunity to do something a little bit different and sit down and share with you some of the highs, the lows, the challenges, the disappointments, as well as the favorites. But we'd love to know what you'd like us to include in that video as well. So if you want us to touch on anything or cover any particular subject, leave us a comment below this video and we'll make sure that we do that. We're going to be filming the video this week so we can include anything that you throw in there. On top of that, we've also got an awesome giveaway as part of that video next week worth over $1,000. So make sure you don't miss that one. And the best way you can make sure you don't miss it is, of course, to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Really appreciate your support, everyone, and we'll see you guys next Sunday. See you then. It'll be alright. But really looking forward to sitting down with you and sharing a few stories. I'm a man.
I'm a man's man.
I do manly things. Man. Oh. Get in my mouth. It's way better with alcohol.